everybody. Welcome to the Glen Kuiper Show, a post-game edition of the Glen Kuiper Show here on my YouTube channel. We're coming to you a little later this evening, but we thought it'd be fun to do a post-game show, talk about what happened tonight at Oracle Park. And so we'll run through the game like we always do when we do a post-game show. And we'll hit on the Rafael Devers situation a little bit, and then we'll put that to rest like I wish everybody would, but we'll do it on my end anyways. So good ball game tonight out at Oracle Park. Well played, really, by both teams, and a well-pitched game. So lots of stuff to talk about. So as a reminder, the Glen Kuiper Show brought to you by the good folks at Tilden Properties. If you invest with Tilden Properties in California's multifamily real estate, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Isn't that what you want? California real estate, your chance to invest in it with good, solid people. Terrific company, Tilden Properties. Call them at 925-209-8558 if you are interested in becoming an investor. We're also brought to you in part by the Kehrig real estate team, family owned, and they have been serving the real estate business all across the East Bay, Alamo, Danville, San Ramon, Walnut Creek, really all across the Bay Area. It's the Kehrig real estate team. Now, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, contact Mike Kehrig at mike@kehrigteam.com. Trusted local guidance from a team that truly knows Bay Area real estate. If you're interested in getting in contact with them, do so at 925-548-4132 or visit their website. Very impressive, kehrigteam.com. And we're also brought to you by the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek. I was thinking about it today. It's been a couple weeks since I've been to the new Original Joe's. It's been too long. It's been really, really too long. I need to get in there. In fact, I was talking about it with my brother. He was just in there. I haven't been in there in a couple weeks. So got to get back to the new Original Joe's in Walnut Creek, the best restaurant in the East Bay, bar none. And we all know about Original Joe's. They've been doing their thing in the city for many, many years. But the great news is now they are in the East Bay and quickly have become the most popular restaurant in the area. So thanks to our sponsors, Tilden Properties, Kehrig Real Estate, and the new Original Joe's. All right, let's get to the ball game tonight that was played at Oracle Park. Final score, the Giants 3 and the Athletics 1. 40,043 at the ballpark tonight. So the fans, as people are saying that they are disgusted with this team and they don't like this team anymore, but 40,043 tonight at the ballpark. And really, they did indeed see a good game. So the Giants, after a brutal weekend, a disappointing weekend in Miami, they win tonight. So they're now 32-46. The A's, on the other hand, with their loss, they are now 38-41. The A's hanging around in that AL West just because really nobody's running away with it. But that's where the A's are at, 38-41. Giants with the win, 32-46. Okay, so 3-1 final. I usually like to start with what happened on the mound when we recap these games. So that means we're going to go right to Robbie Ray. And he was great again. This is good news for the Giants for a number of reasons. He was coming off his best start of the year. In his last start, that was Wednesday. Remember, it actually wasn't a start. Let me rephrase that. He started the abbreviated game. Remember that got 2 innings from Hauser, or just an inning from Hauser, and then it rained, and then he took the ball in the suspended game on Wednesday. So we'll treat it like it was a start. But he went 6 1/3 innings, just 2 hits and no runs, 8 strikeouts that day. And tonight he comes back, and his numbers tonight: 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 unearned run. Remember, the unearned run was Jung Hoo Lee dropping the fly ball, which you probably won't see again. 4 walks and 6 strikeouts for Robbie Ray. So he's been really good, and he's starting to back up some good starts. And as I said, that's good news for the Giants for a number of reasons. Obviously, it's helping them win games right now, but it is making him more attractive come the trade deadline. Listen, he's a very good veteran pitcher. Wasn't pitching great at the beginning of the year. Now he is. He will be attractive to teams looking for a middle of the rotation starter. And I don't think there's any doubt that as we get closer to the trade deadline, that he's probably a guy that the Giants will trade. And you know what? They can get a prospect or two for him, even though it would be strictly a rental for whoever traded for him. But the point is he's pitching well, and that makes him more attractive to all the teams that are looking for starters. With the win, he's now 6-6 on the year. His ERA 3.70. And I looked it up. In his last 5 starts, as we said, he's starting to back up some good starts, that's important. That's very important, for, again, the trade deadline thing. It's part of where we're at with the Giants. We all know that. But his last 5 starts, Robbie Ray has allowed 6 earned runs in 29 innings. That's a 1.86 ERA. So he's looking more like the Robbie Ray of last year. And that's also a little bit of a stretch now for the Giants starters that have gone well. Unfortunately, the offense has been a little bit quiet. So again, cannot put it all together. But if you go back to last Sunday, not 2 days ago, but last Sunday, Logan Webb against the Cubs pitched great. And that has started to stretch, right? We talked about the Webb game we talked about Robbie Ray's game on Wednesday. And then the second game, it was Carson Wisenhunt. He pitched pretty well. On Friday in Miami, Landon Root pitched pretty well. The only real hiccup in this stretch was the very difficult outing by Trevor McDonald on Saturday. But then on Sunday, Webb pitched well again. Tonight, Robbie Ray's pitched well. Think about it. Webb 8 innings on Sunday. Robbie Ray 8 innings tonight. But so my point is there's a little bit of a stretch going here where the starting pitching has been pretty good. That's a good sign. But again, the problem in this stretch is the offense hasn't really quite been clicking like it was there for a while. But all in all, the starters have held up their end of the bargain, except for that one Trevor McDonald start. So, but that is good. That's good news, because as I've said 100 times in the last 2 months, it's impossible to have any kind of winning streak if your starting pitchers don't get a stretch where they all pitch good for 3 weeks, for whatever it takes. So give the starters some credit. They have done a good job. But Robbie Ray tonight, listen, this is a really good A's offensive team. They may be a little bit short pitching. That's why they're 3 games under 500, but they can hit. Some terrific young hitters. Statistically, they're 4th in the American League in runs scored. They're 3rd in the American League in home runs. They're 2nd in the American League in OPS. So this is a dangerous lineup with a bunch of really good young hitters. So for Robbie Ray to do what he did tonight, where he allowed just 2 hits to this team, he did walk 4, but that's what Robbie Ray does. He's going to walk some guys. His control isn't always right there sharp, but he's a grinder. He gets through it. And again, you allow just 2 hits to this A's team. That's pretty darn good. I thought the matchups to watch tonight, just from a pure entertainment standpoint, was Robbie Ray against Kurtz. Nick Kurtz is terrific. He's a superstar in the making. He was Rookie of the Year last year. He's the kind of guy, he could win an MVP someday. He's terrific young player. And he anchors that A's lineup, hitting in that second spot. But tonight, Robbie Ray had his number. Kurtz went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, 3 swinging strikeouts. Now, that's not going to happen a lot, but it was a fun matchup to watch tonight because the kid stands in there, and it looks like he's going to hit a home run every time, right? But Robbie Ray made some really good pitches, 3 strikeouts and a ground out. But I thought that was sort of the fun matchup to watch tonight in the game. So that's the pitching side of it. It's all about Robbie Ray tonight as he gets his 6th win of the year. So before we get to the offensive numbers and before we run through the game, it looks like we got some comments coming in. And you know me, I like to get to the comments. I like to make sure that we get them in there. Okay, let's check. All right, Insane checking in early. What's up? How are you? Nice win. Does it mean anything big picture? No, but it's nice to get a win. Let's just be happy. It was a good game, well-played game, good pitching. It was fun to watch. I thought it was a very entertaining game built around pitching. And so let's enjoy a good ball game in front of a sellout crowd at Oracle. Let's just enjoy it. That's the way I feel about it anyways. Elephant checking in as always, 2024. It was an exciting game, even though A's Giants has lost a lot of its luster since the A's have left the Bay Area. Yeah, there's no question about that. I used to really, really enjoy when the A's and Giants played when I was working for the A's and doing the games for all those years. It was just fun. It was fun to come over to Oracle Park and do the games. Listen, I got to see family members. You guys know that whole story, but there's a lot of people that I've always known with the Giants. And even when I was with the A's, I enjoyed coming over, seeing everybody, packed house, great ballpark, great place to announce games, great broadcast booth. So I loved it. I miss not doing A's Giants games. So yeah, it has lost its luster. I mean, there's no question about it. And they've had some great games over the years. It's funny. Lately, the Giants have kind of had the A's number a little bit. They won 5 out of 6 against them last year. But the point is it was such a great vibe when you had half the stadium with one team, half the stadium with the other team, especially when the games were played at the Coliseum. It was about half and half. And A's fans always did a pretty good job coming to Oracle Park. So yeah, it has lost its luster, unfortunately, and it's not coming back. That's not happening. But I get it, and I miss doing those games. It was a lot of fun, lots of fun. Mikey Vales from SF says, it's a game. You don't stop watching because you're losing. It's a game. Let it play all the way to the end. You don't stop a proper game 97% of the way done to go to the end of the game. Yeah, you got to get 27 outs as far as I know. All right, let me check in one more time with my man in St. Glen. I was at the ballpark a week ago. A lot of opposing fans were there, Cubs fans, and most of the Giants fans at the game could care less about the team. Really, they were more like casual fans. Well, and maybe that's what happens when you're 14 games under 500. There's some disenchantment with the team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But that doesn't mean you still can't go to the ballpark and enjoy baseball. It's a beautiful park. And, I think maybe that's the best way to look at it this year, as opposed to, constantly getting pissed off about everything, which, that's always been a little bit of a head scratcher for me. Enjoy it. There's 162 games. Yeah, we all want the Giants to be good. It's not happening this year. Doesn't mean you still can't go and enjoy a ball game and hope that they play better in the second half. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. All right, one more. Mike says, that's the right insane you stick around to see the final score. That's the beauty of sports, brother. Yeah, you got to stick around. Watch it. Even tonight. I mean, look at tonight. I mean, the tying runs were on base in the top of the ninth. It's never easy for Caleb Killian, but you know what? The kid got it done. So keep the comments coming. I'll check with them a little bit later on in the show. All right, so let's run through the game, and then we'll talk about the offense a little bit from the Giants standpoint, and then we'll hit on the Devers situation, and we'll all get the heck out of here. But so let's see. We'll start. Giants got started in the second inning, so that was kind of fun. Jung-Hoo Lee hit the longest home run of his career, and he went to a deep, deep, deep part of the ballpark. I mean, deep, deep, deep. Which was super cool to see, because you don't think of Jung-Hoo Lee as a guy. I mean, he's going to hit some home runs, not a lot, but he went to a big part of the yard, and I thought that was great to see. He's such a different hitter this year than last year, and we'll talk about Lee in a little bit, but that's how it got started. And then Adames with a double, Chapman with a base hit. He lined one off the wall, so that gave the Giants a 2-0 lead. Chapman picking up his 42nd RBI, Jung-Hoo Lee picking up his 5th home run. So 2-0, but then inexplicably, Jung-Hoo Lee just dropped the fly ball. You just hardly ever see that at the big league level. He just dropped it. I mean, he just dropped it. And Thomas ended up at second, scored on Muncy's hit, and now it's a 2-1 game. So that was obviously disappointing, but it didn't seem to bother Robbie Ray. So then each team had some opportunities. Robbie Ray did not have a lot of in fact, as I'm looking, Robbie Ray had The final 2 innings that he pitched, the 7th inning and the 8th inning, were his only 2 3-up, 3-down innings. He retired the final 7 hitters. So that's another cool part of this start for Robbie Ray. But, you look at it, there was a 2-out walk in the 4th. There was a 2-out walk in the 5th. There was a 2-out single in the 6th by the A's. But Robbie Ray was able to get out of it. And the Giants held on to that 2-1 lead till the bottom of the 7th. And, boy, didn't you just feel like they need an insurance run because of that A's offense that we talked about? And they got one. And it was Devers who had the big hit. Eldridge with a good walk, and then Schmidt with another hit. Schmidt's hot again. Man, is he fun to watch. So with 2 on and 1 out, Rafael Devers had a really nice at-bat, lined a single up the middle. That was good to see. Picked up his 37th RBI, and the Giants got that extra run, that they really, really needed. So that was good news, and it was nice to see Devers. He hasn't had enough clutch hits this year. That was a clutch hit. The Giants really needed that. And so he comes through. That made it 3-1. And then Killian gets the ball in the 9th inning. The kid's got good stuff. He's still learning how to be a closer. Not everybody can be a closer. Trust me. The kid's got pretty good stuff. Tonight he gave up the single. And then the fielder's choice could have been a double play. Willie juggled it a little bit. I don't know that they would have got Wilson at first. Then Butler walks, and it's interesting again. But I thought Mike Krukow said it best. Killian saved his best curveball for the last pitch of the game. He struck out Bolte with a very, very good curveball. And the Giants hang on and win it 3-1. A little dicey at the end, but they got it done. They got it done. So that's kind of going through it inning by inning. Offensively, remember the Giants have been a little bit quiet offensively lately. They scored just 7 runs in that Miami series. And again, tonight, a lot of opportunities. I mean, this Giants team, they will create some opportunities because they get a lot of hits. I mean, they have the 2nd best team batting average in the National League. So they're getting hits. They're getting opportunities. But they'll, in that Marlins series, they just kept looking for that one big hit. Tonight, they got a couple of them, and it was just enough. Remember, if you get good pitching, you probably only need 1 or 2 clutch hits in a game. You may only need 1 if you get good pitching. And that's what, think about that. They had 2 big hits tonight and the Lee home run, and they got good pitching, and they win the game 3-1. So looking at the box score, Arise 1 for 2, and of course he left the game, fouled the ball off his ankle, which was ugly. Let's hope he's okay, but they got him out of there. So we'll see if he plays tomorrow. Eldridge was 0 for 3. A little bit of a struggle right now for Bryce. First time this year where he has hit a little bit of a skid. Turns out he was 0 for 3 tonight with a walk and a run scored. So he did have a good at-bat there in the 7th inning. But he's 1 for his last 14, 5 for his last 29. It's going to happen. Let's watch him and see how he grinds out of a little bit of a slump. That's what you watch with these young kids. That's what you watch with all the guys, but more so the young ones. We'll see how Bryce Eldridge reacts to a little bit of a down spot here, but we're not talking about a month or anything like that. But it's all right. He got a big walk late in the game and scored a big run. Schmidt was great again. We'll talk about him. Devers had that RBI hit. He was 1 for 4. That was good to see. We're going to spend some time on Jung-Hoo Lee. Willie Adames had a couple of hits, scored a run, a single, and a double. That's good. Love to see him get going. Chapman was 1 for 4. He had the big RBI hit. He also struck out 3 times. Gilbert 0 for 1, but he was on base. He's been getting on base a lot lately. And Susak, a little bit of a struggle right now for Daniel Susak. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. So he's 2 for his last 20 and 5 for his last 45. So we're seeing Susak struggle for the first time this year. So a couple of young guys. Keeping an eye on them, but they'll you got to grind through it. That's just what you have to do. Jung-Hoo Lee, 2 for 3 tonight, had a homer, a single, a walk, a stolen base. He was on base 3 times. He's now hitting .331. He is 2nd in the National League in batting average at .331, and this is up to date. Otto Lopez, the Marlins shortstop, he leads the league in hitting. He was 2 for 5 tonight. He's hitting .337. So Jung-Hoo Lee is 6 points behind Lopez for the top batting average in the National League. How great is that? I mean, this is the guy that the Giants were hoping when they signed him a couple years ago. You know, he got hurt that first year. I think last year was a huge, huge learning experience for him. You know, the numbers were fine. They weren't great. They weren't bad. They were decent numbers, but he learned how to play every day at this level. Not easy to do. Not easy to do. I think he got a little bit stronger. I think he took notes about what he felt like he needed to do to be stronger throughout the year and take that next level. I've said that about him a lot. Remember, can he take that next level? And I think he has. Now we'll just see if he can hold on and continue to have a terrific season. But I mean, listen, the guy's hitting 331. His OPS is 835. It's really been fun to watch. And to me, he looks, I know the numbers are obviously a lot better, but he looks better this year. I think he's driving the ball a little bit more, but I also think he just seems to have a better feel for his game, if that makes sense. Seems like he's more confident. Seems like he knows what he can do and what he shouldn't do, which he probably learned last year. So I'm proud of Jung Hoo Lee. I think it's great. He learned a lot last year and he's carried it into this year, and now he's been terrific. Second in the league in hitting. So, give the guy credit. He's third in the league in hits. So this is the kind of player the Giants were hoping they were getting. Also want to mention Casey Schmidt. You got to give this guy a bunch of credit, man. I'm telling you, he has turned himself into a very, very good player. He was 2 for 4 tonight. He had a couple of singles when he's hitting the ball to right field, when he's driving the ball to right field. That's usually when he's going well. So if you see him to hit the ball that way, then he can start turning on pitches, just reacting on pitches inside. He's become a really, really good hitter. 2 hits tonight. He's now hitting 299 on the year, and he has 7 straight multi-hit games. So he has, remember, he had a little slump there for a little bit, but he has now raised his average to 299. He is 7th in the National League in batting average. So the Giants have 3 of the top 7 hitters in the National League batting average-wise, with Arise, Lee, and Schmidt. So Casey Schmidt has done a nice job. He was in left field tonight, came in to play second base. Listen, it's fun to see guys figuring it out. And I think these two guys, I wanted to hit on these two guys and just mention how they're starting to figure it out. And it's showing up, obviously, on the stat sheet. So that's this. You know what? There's been a lot of negative things that have happened this year with the Giants. We all know it. The record's not great. We get it. We see it every night. But there are some bright spots there. And what we're seeing from Lee, what we're seeing from Eldridge, what we're seeing from Schmidt, younger players that are figuring it out. That's a big deal. I think that's a big deal. And you know what? Let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy watching Casey Schmidt continue to develop, where he stays in left field, or, if Arise gets traded, he's going to come in and play second base. He'll do a good job in either place. So anyways, that's sort of the wrap on tonight's game. Again, the Giants win it by a final score of 3-1. So we'll get back after it tomorrow night. But I do want to touch on the Rafi Devers situation, which obviously is somehow become a big story, which, I don't know. I'm not sure why it's become such a huge story. But anyways, I do want to touch on it. Listen, I think everybody agrees that what happened on Sunday, it wasn't a good look. Of course it wasn't a good look. We all know that. The Giants know it. Devers knows it. It happened. He made a mistake. He didn't handle it the right way. It looked bad. Quite frankly, I think it looked worse than it really was. Now that we're kind of finding out some things about what he was thinking. He did talk today. So I think now that we're hearing some of the stories, I think it's a little clearer but it still looked bad. I think we can all agree on that. He wanted to stay in the game, didn't go about it the right way. He talked about it today, okay, and his explanation was that a couple days earlier, he had said to the manager that his hamstring was a little bit tight. It wasn't too bad, but he wanted to tell the manager, "Hey, my hamstring's a little tight. I just want you to know." And you know what? That's good. That's a good thing. Okay. And his explanation was he was letting Tony know that the hamstring was good. I'm okay to run. He thought that that's why they were putting in a pinch runner. Now you can say, "Oh, that's a bunch of crap. I don't believe it." Well, I mean, if that's the way we're going to look at it, then the guy's got no chance here. My thing is maybe that's what it was. I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just saying, okay, he explained what was going on. He didn't go about it the right way, but he explained what was going on today. Why can't what he said be what happened? That's probably is what happened. He just didn't go about it the right way. And bad optics. Fair. Okay. He apologized to the manager. This came out today. They spoke on the plane for a long, long time. This is what happens on team planes, folks. I was on one for 22 years. You don't say anything specific about what things that are said on a team plane. You just don't, because that's just an unwritten rule. And if you are part of a traveling party in baseball, you just know that, right? But there are a ton of conversations that are had on an airplane, okay, on a team charter. And from what we've been told, Devers and the manager spoke for a long time. Devers apologized. They went over what happened, and Devers felt bad, and he apologized to the manager, and they're good with everything. Okay. They're good with everything. It's a 6-hour flight from Miami. You got a lot of time. But this happens a fair amount on team charters. Guys talk, and if there's an issue, you clear it up quickly. And that's what the manager and Devers did. That's a good thing. It was handled right. Nobody needs to know what was said. Nobody needs to know how long they talked. That doesn't matter. They figured it out, and they're good. That's a good thing, right? Sounded like they handled it well. I think that's what you do. You don't let it linger, and it was all cleared up. He explained his side of the story, and okay. Now, if you choose to say that's bull, I don't believe any of his side of the story about the hamstring. That's fine. I mean, I'm just saying he explained it, whatever, and it got taken care of. It's done, right? But of course, you get to the ballpark and it's this giant story, and I do honestly think, and I just me sitting, watching, reading things, listening to what people are saying about this, looking on social media, what people are saying about this. I think this was a little bit blown out of proportion. Don't you think? Don't you really think that this was a little bit blown out of proportion? Really? The guy made a mistake. He admitted it. He talked to the manager. They cleared it up. We're good. This did not need to be this big of a story, but it's so juicy and it's so good that it's like sharks in the water. Such a good story. We got to keep it alive. Keep it going. Keep talking about it. Keep bashing everybody. Okay. So now all of a sudden, Devers is a bad guy. I've heard people on social media, on YouTube, say some of the get it personal. Should never get personal. You should never ever get personal with a player. It's not about that. That is, you have crossed the line. If you start saying, this he's fat, get rid of it. You've crossed the line. Okay. If you don't like the situation or what happened, if you don't like his statistics, okay. But if you make it personal, you've gone too far. Okay. I mean, I saw it today. I saw people on social media saying, you know what? Let's everybody boo Devers every at bat. Really? That's the way we're going to go about this. Spread the word. This guy's a bad guy. Let's all boo him. We're the home fans, and let's boo Devers. That's the way we're going to go about this. Bury the guy. Just bury him because he doesn't have enough homers and enough RBIs. And he made a mistake, and he apologized to the manager for it. And he thinks that maybe it got blown out of proportion. Quite frankly, so do I. So do I. I think it did. I mean, think about it. He screwed up. Anyways, but let's hope that now that it's a couple days old, and tomorrow it'll be 3 days old, we'll see if it keeps coming up because it's such a juicy story. Yeah. So if you want to bury Rafi Devers over this because you're angry because he doesn't have enough home runs and RBIs, that's your choice. I think it's a little cheap, but that's just me. That's just me. Not sticking up for him. I told you he screwed up. But is this the route that we're going to take? Let's boo him. Ooh. Anyways, so that's enough about that. If I don't touch on it, then it looks like I'm avoiding it. But yeah, I think it was very much blown out of proportion. So I'm going to run through a few comments, and then you know what? We're going to get the heck out of here. How about that? All right. Okay, let's see. Cannot see anyone pick up Devers' contract. Both he and the Giants will have to find a way to make this. See, that's the point. And I'm with you, Elephant. But have to find a way to make this work out. Well, he made a mistake. He apologized. What do we have to make it work out? Is it he needs to play better? Okay, fine. But let's not act like this is tearing down the team, okay? I'm just being honest. But that's sort of I think the feeling. Okay, I want to check. I want to give everybody. Insane says, Glenn, are you really buying that excuse? Come on, man, don't be that naive. I'm not naive. And I'm kind of bummed that you think I'm naive. I sit here when I do these shows and I try to be really honest. And I think there was probably something to the hamstring. I had heard that after the 2 games on Wednesday. Okay. So I'm not making stuff up. I do hear things from people. Okay. And that played 2 games, hamstring was a little tight. He revisited it on Friday with the manager. Okay. So if you think I'm being naive, that's fine. I'm just saying that's the info that I got. So I don't think that's being naive. I'm just looking at it with all the information that I got. So, see, that's the thing. The guy, what if he is being honest? What if that is the thing? So he's just like, because he doesn't have enough homers and doesn't have enough RBIs, he's lying. He's just lying. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. All right. You know what? Let's see. Yeah, you guys are. I don't think you're going to change your mind. He's a bad guy, and that's just the way it's going to be. Which I don't know. It's a little unfortunate, I think. But anyways, that's it for the Rafael Devers situation. I can tell you that I probably won't talk about this again because I'd rather talk about the game in baseball and whether the Giants are winning or losing. There's a game every day that's fun to talk about. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the show. Giants win tonight, 3-1. Let's see what's going on tomorrow. I'm going to be at the ballpark tomorrow. If anybody's there and you see me, and I've told you before, stop me, introduce yourself. I like to know who I'm talking to. Anyway, so yeah, if you're there and you see me, say hello. But I will be there tomorrow. It'll be Cage Jump. That's who's starting for the Athletics. He's one of their top prospects, a very good young left-handed pitcher, making just his 6th big league start. So we'll get to see Cage Jump for the Athletics. He's a lefty against Tyler Malley, who's coming back from the injured list. So that's the pitching matchup tomorrow night, and then a day game on Thursday. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Thanks for joining me for our post-game recap of a 3-1 Giants win over the Athletics. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks again for joining in.